The Mark of Cain. What was it? And why did God protect a murderer? From the earliest pages of the Bible, a story emerges that is both simple and perplexing, one that has intrigued scholars, theologians, and readers alike for millennia. It is the story of Cain and Abel, the first murder recorded in human history. Abel, the innocent shepherd, offered a pleasing sacrifice to God, while Cain, the farmer, offered one that was not accepted. Anger, jealousy, and despair ignited within Cain, culminating in the unthinkable. He killed his own brother. Yet the story does not end there. After the crime, God confronts Cain, asking a question that echoes through the ages. Where is your brother Abel? Cain's response is chilling in its defiance. I do not know. Am I my brother's keeper? What follows next is even more baffling. God pronounces a judgment on Cain, condemning him to be a restless wanderer on the earth. Then comes the twist that has puzzled readers for centuries. God places a mark upon Cain, not as a curse, but as protection, a safeguard against those who might seek to kill him in revenge. Why would God protect a murderer? What was this mysterious mark? Was it physical, spiritual, symbolic, or something else entirely? This enigma, recorded in Genesis 4:15, has spurred countless interpretations, debates, and theories. The Mark of Cain remains one of the Bible's most enigmatic symbols, and understanding it requires diving deep into the narrative, its context, and the enduring moral questions it raises. To grasp the meaning of the Mark of Cain, we must first consider the context of Cain's actions. Genesis presents Cain and Abel as the first two sons of Adam and Eve, born into a world still raw with innocence and the nascent understanding of morality. Abel's offering of the firstborn of his flock was accepted by God, while Cain's, from the fruit of the ground, was not. The text does not explicitly explain why, but tradition suggests that Abel's offering reflected sincerity, faith, and humility, while Cain's lacked true devotion. Abel's gift may have embodied a deeper spiritual significance, perhaps foreshadowing atonement in ways that Cain did not. It was not merely the act of giving, but the condition of the heart that mattered. Cain's inner disposition, marked by envy and pride, shaped the rejection of his offering and set the stage for tragedy. After Cain commits the first murder, God confronts him. The punishment is both harsh and unusual. The ground which once yielded fruit to him would no longer give it strength, and he would become a fugitive and wanderer on the earth. Yet Cain fears another danger, retaliation from others. He cries out, expressing despair that his punishment is greater than he can bear, and fearing that anyone who finds him will kill him. Here is where God's response becomes the heart of the mystery. Therefore, whoever kills Cain, vengeance shall be taken on him sevenfold. And the Lord set a mark upon Cain, lest anyone finding him should kill him. At first glance, this seems counterintuitive. Why protect someone who has committed such a grievous crime? Over the centuries, scholars have offered many interpretations of the mark. Some suggest it was a physical sign, perhaps a distinctive feature on Cain's body that warned others not to harm him. A scar, a birthmark, or even a symbol of some kind. Others see it as spiritual, an invisible safeguard that demonstrated God's ongoing oversight and allowed Cain to continue living despite his sin. In some interpretations, the mark serves as a paradoxical emblem of both curse and mercy. Cain is condemned for his crime, yet God protects him, teaching that even the guilty are not to be subjected to unlimited human vengeance. The sevenfold vengeance mentioned in the text reinforces the severity of violating this divine protection. Through the ages, Jewish and Christian scholars have wrestled with the meaning of the mark. Some ancient texts suggest it was visible, a deterrent to those who might harm Cain. Other traditions emphasize its spiritual significance, highlighting the divine balance between punishment and mercy. Early church fathers debated whether it was literal or symbolic, while modern theologians often consider the Mark of Cain a narrative device, highlighting the tension between justice and mercy, sin and divine patience, and human responsibility under God's watchful eye. Understanding why God would protect Cain requires grappling with theological principles that may seem paradoxical. God alone decides the extent of punishment and protection. By marking Cain, God asserts ultimate control over justice, reminding humanity that only the divine can judge fully. Protecting Cain also prevents the cycle of vengeance from escalating, demonstrating restraint and foresight. The mark may allow for the possibility of repentance, even though Cain's story is tragic. It sends a message that punishment does not always close the door entirely on a sinner. At the same time, it teaches humanity about mercy, restraint, and the complexity of justice. The story of Cain and the mark God placed upon him offers profound lessons for all generations. Sin has consequences, yet mercy is a divine principle. Justice is complex, often extending beyond immediate retribution. The tale warns of the dangers of envy and unchecked anger, revealing how a single act of violence can alter the course of history. Above all, the mark reminds us that God's ways are sometimes mysterious, defying human understanding, yet imbued with wisdom and purpose. The relevance of the Mark of Cain extends even to modern times. Society continues to wrestle with questions of justice, punishment, and mercy. How should we respond to wrongdoing both in others and within ourselves? How do we prevent cycles of revenge and retaliation? How can accountability coexist with compassion? The mark, whether physical, spiritual, or symbolic, reflects these ongoing ethical dilemmas. It challenges us to consider the balance between justice and mercy, punishment and protection, human impulses and divine wisdom. Perhaps the most enduring question is not the identity of the mark itself, but the principles it embodies. It forces us to confront uncomfortable truths. Even a murderer can be under divine protection, and mercy can exist alongside judgment. The Mark of Cain serves as a mirror, reflecting the tension between human justice and divine mercy, the consequences of sin, and the possibility of redemption. As we ponder the mysterious mark, we are invited to examine our own hearts. How do we respond to wrongdoing, both in others and within ourselves? What does it mean to show restraint and mercy in a world that often seeks immediate revenge? The story of Cain encourages reflection on the values of justice, compassion, and divine authority. It asks us to consider the ways in which mercy can transform not only individuals, but society as a whole. The Mark of Cain is more than an ancient mystery. It is a timeless lesson, a symbol that challenges our understanding of justice, punishment, and divine care. It reminds us that consequences are real, yet mercy is powerful, that wrongdoing should be addressed, yet vengeance is not the ultimate answer. And perhaps the most haunting question of all is the one that remains after we finish reading the story. If God can protect a murderer, what does that say about the potential for mercy in a world desperate for justice? As we leave Cain's story behind, we are reminded of the mysteries that still linger in the Bible and the questions that challenge us. What does mercy truly mean? How does justice work in ways we cannot fully understand? If this journey into ancient mysteries has sparked your curiosity, don't stop here. Hit the subscribe button and turn on notifications to explore more hidden stories, divine mysteries, and thought-provoking lessons from the Bible. Join us as we uncover the secrets behind the stories that have puzzled humanity for millennia. The next revelation may change the way you see the world. Subscribe now and continue the journey with us.